They're attacking hotels.
Times. So we don't want nothing to do with y'all at this moment. If
Britain has...
War is actually the most impeachable thing that Donald Trump has ever done. I'm the former Secretary of State of Missouri. That requires presidents to go to the American people and make a case as to why they should allow their representatives, who they're going to elect every 2 to 6 years, to actually vote in favor of something else. The vast majority of Americans didn't want this war, and yet he's gone completely against the people and seems to no longer care at all what we want.
Attack on Tel Aviv tonight. I don't know the extent of how far it's going to go. I know we're obviously more...
They hitting buildings in Tel Aviv. They're destroying
the business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read, your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
Welcome to the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. Today is Fuck Around and Find Out Day. For all of you people that's listening to me on the airwaves, on Iheart Radio, on YouTube, and different radio stations that I've plugged into, I just want you to know that when I start talking about Islam and Christianity and Judaism, believe in what you want to believe in. You have that right as a human being to have faith in something. Now, with saying that, let's get into the show. You see, Americans, we sit back in our bubbles and we don't understand that outside of America, nobody cares about Christianity and Jesus. You know, you got the little old lady with a nice hat on, going up in church with a tangerine and, you know, praising Jesus. Outside of America and Canada, people don't give two fucks about Jerusalem, Israel, or Christianity. We need to get that understood. I think more parents should send their kids outside of the United States at least for a month so they can get an idea and a feel for what the rest of the world is like. By me being a traveler of the United States and seeing so many different cultures just within the United States all of my life, I already know that it's crazy out there with different cultures, styles, religions. But when you living in a bubble of yes men and yes ma'ams, you don't get to see it. I'm first going to talk about the different levels of Islam. You need to know this, especially if you have children who might have to go fight a war for Israel, because that's basically what this is about. The Israeli people over in Jerusalem do not fuck with you, especially if you're a Christian. I'm going to explain why in a minute. But first, let's talk about Islam. Like I said, some of you are going to get mad, be in your feelings. Some of you are going to feel like I'm talking about religion, like I have none, or I don't believe in God. But that's just not the case. God is real. God has protected me and my family for a long time. It's the religion surrounding God that's the fake, the false. So we're going to start off on the Islam side, because right now Donald Trump and his administration and the people that voted for him are taking an ass whipping in public in front of the whole world. And it's not going to do anything to the American people as far as a whole, but people are going to die just to teach Donald Trump a lesson. And that's the saddest part about all of this. So let's get into this diagram I got pulled up on my screen. The different levels of Islam. You see, we got the NOI, FOI, 5% nation, 5% Muslims, or whatever you want to call them, the Sunni Muslims of America. These are basically black and white men and women who know that Christianity is not us. Some of these people are rebellious. They don't want to be a part of Christianity. Some of these people grew up under the strict thumb of their mother, who was a churchgoer. And the reason I can speak about this is because I joined the 5% nation. I joined them. And I can tell you right now, mathematics, love, peace, truth, love, peace, and understanding, understanding as a child, all the mathematics that they put out there, trying to teach you stuff, and all of this stuff is, at the end of the day, none of these people at the low levels of Islam is going to strap a bomb to themselves and kill you and everybody around you. None of these people. They might be tough in American streets where they got the rappers that come together under Farrakhan, and we're going to sit down and talk about it. These guys got the bow ties. They might slap a couple of guys, street hoodlums around, but they're not really like that when it comes to killing you over Islam. We need to understand that. These are at the bottom of the pyramid. These are the ones who can get drunk still. They still have sex with Christian women, trying to convert them. Some of them don't even try to convert them. Girl get out of church and come home and cook pork for her boyfriend. This is what they are. The hoodie wearing, sagging jeans with Timberland boots. The man is knowledge, the woman is wisdom, and the child is understanding. This is who these people are. The low-level Muslims. Some of these people don't even pray. Now let's move up the ladder, because I know that probably pissed a lot of you black Americans off. Especially the ones who love Farrakhan and all of that lot. Let's move up the scale. Saddam Hussein and Iraqis. These people are basically Muslim in name. Some of them pray. And let me tell you something about Muslims praying. You will know a real Muslim who prays 7 times a day because they had that little black mark on their forehead. That's from touching that rug 7 times a day. You don't see that black mark on their forehead, you best believe they ain't praying 7 times a day. Some can tell y'all they just take care of their skin and this and that. I don't want to hear none of that. If you see that black mark on their forehead, or some kind of smudge, or some kind of indentation, they pray 7 times a day. They face touch that ground 7 times a day. So like I said, let's move on to the Iraqis. Hussein and his brother and Saddam Hussein and all of them, they're basically godless Muslims. They didn't care nothing about Islam. They cared about power. Some of the Iraqi people are drunks. Some of the Iraqi people are puppets to America now. These people are low level. Muslims. They might fight you if you talk about Islam, but they're not too much going to strap no bombs on them and kill you and everybody around you. That's who these people are. Right above the Nation of Islam and these Muslims. That's the Iraqis. Now we're moving up the scale to more dangerous territory. These people don't play games. They've won against every major superpower that tried to go in there and do something to them. You fly over them with airplanes, they fade into the mountains and come back and kill you when you're comfortable. These are the beheaders. These are the head choppers. The Afghans. They're dangerous, but they're ineffective. The reason why is because they don't have the capabilities that America has. They have the willpower to wipe you off the planet, especially if you're a Christian. But they don't have the willpower. They don't have the manpower as far as technology. Some of these people are on heroin because they got the poppy fields out there. America tried to burn some of them. They're on drugs. But even though they might do heroin, they still bow down and pray 7 times a day, and they will kill you over Islam. That's who these people are. Now let's get to the top, which is the hornet's nest that Israel and Donald Trump stirred up. We're going to get to the top. Pakistan and Iran and Syria falls somewhere in between Afghan and Iran. These people are capable. And some of us are sitting back looking at the last wars that we fought against these low-level Muslims that didn't have the capability that America has. And we sat back and thinking that these people live in grass huts. No. Up here at the top, these people are very dangerous. They have the willpower to kill you like the Afghans, but they have the technology to do it. Some of us are sitting back thinking, oh, we just gonna run over Iran just like we did Iraq and Afghanistan. No, that's not happening. China already came out and said, if America runs into Iran and destroy Iran, China is going to destroy Israel. Listen very carefully. If America, and this is putting Donald Trump between a rock and a hard place, because he wants to prove himself that he's just as good as Obama and just as good as Bush by fucking with the wrong people. Bush went into Iraq, Afghanistan, Obama finished it up, but these were low-level Muslims that didn't really have the capabilities. Iran watched all of this happen for 20 to 30 years. Listen to the words of my voice, people. Iran and Pakistan sat back and watched for 20 to 30 years and plotted and planned because they knew this day was coming. Because America has turned into puppets for Israel. And the thing about all of this is all of these people are of the same blood. You see, the different brothers of David and Abraham split up into different lands. So the Iraqis, the Afghans, the Iranians, all of these people in Persia, including Israel, are of the same blood. They've been fighting this war for millennia. And Israel lost. Just like a lot of other nations back then, 2,000 years ago, lost against Persia. We reignited it by taking people that Adolf Hitler tried to destroy and putting them back in to Israel when they should never have been there. They lost a millennia ago. So then you try to bully the Palestinians who live there now and take their land from them and put the Israeli people back on that land. This is something that's been already decided 2,000 years ago. What America and the Allies should have done after World War II, they should have took the Jews, took them back to their home country, which was Germany and Austria, and told the Germans, take care of your people. We beat you. Treat them right. But they didn't do that. They took these people from Germany and Austria and put them back in the Middle East. And then trying to bully everybody around them. Let me give you an idea, especially if you're a black American, what that means. Say a country over there in Europe come over here because whites were beating us blacks in the streets. And instead of telling the whites, treat your people better, they take all of us black Americans and put us back in Ghana, say Ghana, any country in Africa, and tell all the people that already live there, respect them, don't bother them, and they're going to build great cities better than what you got around you. You don't think them African people are going to be pissed? They're going to be pissed off. This is our land. Don't bring them ex-slaves back over here. Keep them in your country and treat them well. Don't bring them back over here. That's what happened. And then imagine we black Americans go over to Ghana and slowly start killing Ghanaians and taking their land and pushing them further and further away. Imagine that. In the eyes of the world, we Americans have started to look like Adolf Hitler. That's how bad things have gotten out there. And most of us don't even know it. We blind. Most of us don't even know it. People really look at us like Nazi Germany now. Even our allies are looking at us like we crazy. We done turned into lapdogs for the Israeli people who don't even like us. Now that I've said my piece about Islam, I'm going to let this video play because I really think it's important. These are some Americans who are talking about this and a few news clips. And then I'm going to tell you why the Christians are hated around the world. Not because of your religion. It's partly because of that. But it's the arrogance that comes along with believing in something everybody else feels is fake. Do you get it? The whole rest of the world feel like it's bullshit. But you got enough nerve to have the arrogance to attack people who have had their religion for 2,000-3,000 years. Christianity is a baby compared to some of these other religions. A baby. And the rest of the world is looking at you as a Christian like, how dare you? Some of y'all don't even get it. But I'm going to explain it to you after we watch this video.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
And that said no more foreign wars, no more regime change. Promised it on the campaign. J.D. Vance promised it. Tulsi Gabbard promised it. All of them promised it. And we're a year in, and we're in another fucking war, and we've got American troops being killed.
Iran has vowed to make life miserable for that Goliath.
Guys, right now clarity matters, and it's been cleared for me to tell you that what I'm standing in is a hospital that was targeted by the Iranian regime missiles, and I know that it's not going to surprise many of you since they've been...
Yeah, here's the thing, man. We don't give a shit. We don't.
I'm beginning to think that electing this guy was not a good idea.
This is how far we've fallen here in the United States. We are being run by a group of elite criminals. Elite criminals.
You see the attacks they're conducting right now? They're attacking airports. They're attacking hotels. They're hitting not just military bases. They're attacking our embassies directly. They're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military. And that's a weekend Iran.
Y'all, I swear, the orange buffoon just makes shit up, man. He came out here saying that the new government of Iran wants to talk to him, and he agreed to talk to them so that they can come up with a ceasefire. The new government of Iran came on X and said, no the fuck we don't. We don't want to talk to y'all because 2 times we have tried to talk to you and you attacked us both times. So we don't want nothing to do with y'all at this moment. If
Britain has including RAF Fairford and Diego Garcia for strikes on Iran. And it's not just Britain. Saudi Arabia told Washington directly that its airspace and territory are off limits. Qatar, Kuwait, the UAE, and Bahrain have all refused to help Trump strike Iran. These are the countries bordering Iran, the ones with the most to gain from neutralizing Tehran's nuclear program. They are the ones most aggressively saying no to Trump. So last June, Trump's attack on Iran worked because it was a one-night operation with B-2s flying from Missouri. But a sustained months-long campaign against Iran, this requires forward bases for rearming and refueling. Every potential host nation told Trump no. The American military can still strike anywhere on Earth, but the American global network of bases that enables American power is rapidly coming to an end, and Trump and the Republicans are fully to blame.
Now, I want to say something about that. When you fighting a war, you got to have forward bases because America is separated from the rest of the world by 2 oceans. So whenever we go invade somebody's country, we got to fly our army over there, let them rest at some kind of base, and then attack. Our allies are telling Trump, no, we're not fucking with you. So that means we literally have to send our troops directly from America over to Iran. That's going to be devastating on our fuel. That's going to be devastating on our army, on our men, our soldiers. We are going to get our asses handed to us. And then China already said if America just so happened to destroy Iran, they're going to destroy Israel. Destroy it. Not play with it. They are going to drop bombs on Israel and destroy it. You see, everybody heard about Trump going into Venezuela and taking the president out of there, and everybody was like, "Ah, man, he tough." But what y'all don't realize is the rest of the world is playing chess. Donald Trump is playing checkers. See, Venezuela was giving oil to China. And now America controls Venezuela since they took the president out. The same thing is happening in Iran. If you take out Iran, you're hurting China because China gets oil from Venezuela and Iran. You see, a lot of people who claim I don't pay attention to politics don't understand why our young men and women are going to die over there. They're doing this because of oil. They're doing this because of money. They're doing this because Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. We have to have a distraction, even if it costs people's lives. Some of America's richest people is in the Epstein files, and ain't none of them been arrested yet. We gotta have a distraction. And what happens in America when we need a distraction? War. They've been doing this to us for a long time.
Congress stands in for the people in this country, stands in as our voice. And that's why presidents are required to go to Congress to take huge actions like this war in Iran, not because Congress is so special, but because that requires presidents to go to the American people and make a case as to why they should allow their representatives, who they're going to elect every 2 to 6 years, to actually vote in favor of something like this. It's not like there's a draft where every American is feeling this as a result, and therefore going to hold the president accountable for decisions like this about the military. All you got to do is look back to the Iraq War to understand why this is so important. George W. Bush got Congress to approve. It turned out to be a really bad decision. But what happened as a result of that? It wasn't just George W. Bush, whose poll numbers cratered and that sort of thing. There were a lot of members of Congress who lost re-election as a result. And so at a time like this, where the President of the United States is a second-term, lame duck president who only cares about himself anyway, it's really important that our Constitution work the way it's supposed to, so that political risk gets spread across more than just the White House, so that a lot of Republican and even maybe some Democratic members of Congress have to stake their political careers on saying yes to something like this. If you look at the polls, the vast majority of Americans didn't want this war, and yet we're going into this war anyway. A lot of people are going to die, not just the American soldiers who have tragically lost their lives so far, but there's going to be lots of innocent civilians across the Middle East who have already died and who will die. And that's why it's so important that there be congressional authorization, because we have to have some check to keep presidents from just waging war because they feel like it without having to even justify it at all to the American people. Now, why do I think that this is the most impeachable thing he's ever done? Because he's gone completely against the people and seems to no longer care at all what we want. Look, the former leader of South Korea is in prison right now and was removed from office because he, for like a period of hours, put in place martial law. So yeah, I think that going to war without Congress, and in a war that is deeply unpopular, that you really never even bothered to try to convince the American people should be popular, yes, I think that is worthy of impeachment and potentially removal from office.
So Iran is not Venezuela. Iran is not even Iraq. China and Russia have been very quiet. They're both an ally of Iran. China and Russia are a part of the G5 countries, the most powerful countries on earth: the United States, France, Britain, China, Russia. Those are the 5 most powerful countries on earth. China and Russia have been quiet. This country is retaliating back. There's over 90 million people in Iran. Over 90 million people. I don't care if supposedly 80% of the people want that regime gone. That sounds like an Iranian problem, not an American problem. It sounds to me like there's so many bad things in these Epstein files that this president...
Exactly. He hit it on the head. You see, the man that Donald Trump killed had announced that there were more islands than just the Epstein Islands, and he got dirt that has never been seen before on some of these wealthy, powerful white people in America. Not just whites, but you know, the movers and the shakers, the big banks. And the banking system is another thing. You know, when you eliminate these African countries like Libya and Iraq and Afghanistan and Iran that's not a part of the banking system, you can come in and set up a structure, and now what you've done is you made the Rothschilds and all of these wealthy bankers richer, because they get to open up banks there to help the money move. That's what they call it. We're going to help the money flow and help create jobs and opportunities. You know, all of this stuff is connected. Like I said, I tried to stay off Trump's ass because he was doing some good things as far as social issues. But you can't keep ignoring this stuff. You keep ignoring it because you one of those type of people who, you know, I don't get involved in politics. You're the sheep. You're the sheep. You're the one whose son or daughter is finna go over there and get killed. All because of Epstein files, oil, and money. You're the sheep.
The president has got to do everything in his power to limit that information from getting out. Not to mention the fact that Bibi Netanyahu of Israel has a shit ton of dirt on this president. Iran has already launched an attack on Tel Aviv tonight. I don't know the extent of how far it's going to go. I know we're obviously more powerful than Iran, but you can't just invade and bomb countries because they need a little freedom. That's not how the world works. It was wrong when we did it. For the last 40 years, it was wrong. Going into Latin America, Central America, South America.
But it's not about freedom. You got to understand that it's not about freedom. You got countries like Haiti right now has a man in control of Haiti called Barbecue. He's a dictator. He's been killing people. It's bad down there. And if you really want freedom, how come you don't go as Americans down to Haiti and liberate them and get them back on their feet? You know why? Because you already got Haiti in your pocket as Americans. You going the American government is going after countries who they don't have in their pocket yet. When they toppled Iraq and killed Saddam Hussein and his sons, America swooped in, and now they don't just control the government. They probably got banking systems going on in Iraq. They got all kinds of stuff going on in Iraq behind the scenes. The Americans do. They probably got oil transports going on back and forth. All of that. It's not about freedom.
Libya, it's always wrong. We're not Superman. Our names are not Clark Kent. We are not God. We are not Jesus. We are a nation that is blessed to be between two oceans to protect us. This administration is insane. Donald Trump is insane. And you reap what you sow. Who knows? Who freaking knows? But we are heading into dangerous territory either way.
Oh my God! Yo!
Whoa, did you see that? That was fast. That looked...
People died in that building. Make no mistake about it. People died in that building that you just saw get hit. Iran is not playing games. They are not Iraqis. They are not Afghanistan. They are not Nation of Islam. Iran sits at the top of the pecking order when it comes to Muslims. They have technology. They love Islam. They love Allah, and they will kill you over that. Even if it kills themselves while they doing it. Name me a Christian American that's finna do that. I'll wait. Name me a Christian American who's finna strap a bomb to himself and go kamikaze on you. It's not finna happen. These people have been praising Allah for millennia. And they look at Americans and Christians as infidels and blasphemers. And I'm finna explain why in a second.
They hitting buildings in Tel Aviv. They're destroying airports. They're destroying buildings. What else did I see? I mean, they're tearing up Tel Aviv right now and Jerusalem. Not only that, they closed the Strait of Hormuz, so that is costing the West billions of dollars. And China just sent a bunch of planes with weapons and munitions to Iran. So Iran is sitting pretty good right now. They're not ready to negotiate. They put up that red flag of vengeance. Y'all unalive their leader. They're pretty pissed off. They don't want to negotiate with the orange buffoon. But here he comes out talking about, yeah, they wanted to talk. He just makes shit up. He just makes shit up. He let Netanyahu gas his ass up to go attack Iran. Netanyahu has been trying to have the United States attack Iran since the 90s. After 9/11, he went to Congress and told Congress to go after Iran. And then Congress was like, no, we're going to go after Iraq. And he's like, well, Iraq is a good target, but you know, Iran. Since the 90s. And no president listened to that motherfucking dummy, except for the orange buffoon. And now China's saying, man, chill your shit. Chill your shit. Iran is in bricks. At the end of the day, the dementia patient in the White House is just making shit up. You and that little country over there is causing havoc. My God, man. Why can't we cut off the umbilical cord to is not real? What do they have on y'all, politicians? What do they have? Every freaking war since fucking what? Korea? I think after Korea. Every war after that has been at the behest of is not real. This is insane. But anyway, he's just making shit up. Anunnaki, anytime now. I'm ready to go. I have overstayed my welcome. God. I want to go home.
Like I don't. Let me explain to you now, after letting her say her piece, why Islam hates Christians and the Jews secretly mock you behind your back. These are the people that we're going around killing other nations for. Some Jews over there are spitting on Christians. Now let me explain to you what's going on with that. Jesus was a Jew. He practiced Judaism. Brief history. I'm going to try to do it fast as I can. I'm not going to bore you with this stuff, because all of this, what I'm saying, you can look it up yourself, but you won't. As long as you got your Bible, your church, throw your hands in the air, praise Jesus. You don't care about history. But people who don't care about history, because they're afraid that to know history will turn you away from Christianity, and it will. That was a side effect of sending a lot of black men to prison. They ran across a lot of other religions, they read books more, and they started understanding that Christianity was forced upon us. Martin Luther King Jr. said it in his speech, his famous speech. We lost our religion, our culture, our gods. Many of us have even lost our minds. Martin Luther King Jr. said that. The only reason he kept preaching is because he knew that Christianity, or something to believe in, would stop a race war. Because blacks, if they in the church, wouldn't rise up and kill whites. He also knew that we would lose against the whites back in the 60s and 50s. And the reason why we would lose is because they had more guns back then. We wasn't allowed to move around back then. We didn't have allies back then. But now a lot of black men have stepped away from the church. I heard a woman on one of these podcasts say a lot of black men step from the church because the preacher is preaching more for femininity, feminist. That's not the case. It's not all of the case. Black men have stepped away from the church because the truth is starting to be revealed. Christianity was forced upon us through slavery. We had our own religion and culture. We don't know what it is no more, but we had our own. Now let me go back. Jesus was a Jew. He practiced Judaism, not Christianity. There was no such thing as Christianity when Jesus was alive. Jesus tried to get his country back from Rome, and they executed him. He was already somewhat of a rebel, because even though he practiced like the rabbis did, he practiced Judaism like the rabbis did, he was an outlier. He was one of those people that didn't practice the same way. He had a more loving hand than a lot of the rabbis in the synagogues of yesteryear. So they executed him. His disciples, which was a small army, he had 77 disciples, not 12. Let's get that straight. He had 12 apostles. Apostles are basically his cabinet, like the United States president has a cabinet of advisors. The apostles were his advisors, but disciples are like a small royal army. John the Baptist had 111 disciples. That's a small royal army. And the reason why they had so many disciples is because these men were protected by them. They were part of the royal bloodline, except for Jesus. Let's talk about that real quick. Mary was supposed to marry Joseph, but now she has a child. Joseph didn't give her that child, so now she's supposed to be stoned to death. Y'all forgetting about that? This is the Middle East we talking about. A woman betrothed to a man is stoned to death. Period. Unless an elaborate scheme, if the man really loves her, of an angel coming down and just giving her a baby. So Jesus was not part of the bloodline, but he was. Don't this sound familiar? A man of the Father, but not the Father. That's what he was. He was a part of the bloodline, but he wasn't the bloodline. He was raised by Joseph, but he wasn't Joseph's biological son. The bloodline of Israel comes through Joseph and John the Baptist. But King Herod was a cousin too. He had a claim to the throne too. The thing about King Herod, he was a puppet for Rome. So instead of them picking Jesus or Joseph or John the Baptist to be the ruler, they picked Herod. And once Herod became the king, he sent out people to kill the other bloodline. Is it starting to make sense to you now? For some of you churchgoers out there, some of y'all might think I'm talking blasphemy, but all you got to do is pick up a history book. That's all. So after Jesus was crucified and killed, they started going after his disciples, tracked them down and murdered them. You got people going around saying they went out into the land and was preaching this and that about Christianity. No, they was on the run. And they were slaughtered. 100 years after Jesus died, Christianity was formed. 100 years. 100 years. When Jesus was alive, there was no Christianity. That shit is made up. Some of y'all might think I'm talking blasphemy. I'm not. It's in the history books. Emperor Constantine, when he converted to Christianity, they didn't have a structure, so he gave it one. Most of the religious days that's practicing Christianity are pagan holidays. Roman pagan holidays. This is real shit. And this is why the Muslims can't stand you. Because you Christians don't get it. They've been around for thousands of years. Thousands. That's why the Jewish people can't stand you. Because they've been around for thousands of years. And then here comes along a bunch of pagans hijacking Judaism and creating their own little religion. I know this shit hurts some of y'all ears to hear this, but you gotta understand why your sons and daughters are gonna go over there and die. They don't just hate you because you're a Christian or you believe in God. Stop it. It's the arrogance. You can believe in what you want to believe in, but the forcing of your beliefs on others, when others are telling you that's man-made, not God-made, that hurt y'all ears, didn't it? I'm going to take it a little further. This is really going to fuck you up. For those of you listening to me on Iheart Radio, don't take offense. Just listen to it and go pick up a history book. The Romans took Christianity to Europe, enslaved the Europeans who were pagans, and told the pagan Europeans, you're going to believe in Christianity or die. So the English converted. The English went down to Africa, took slaves, brought them to America, and told them, you're going to believe in Christianity, you and the Native Americans, or die. And black Americans and Native Americans converted. And then they taught it to their kids and their kids and their kids. So you mean to tell me, let's get this straight. God damn it, let's get this straight. A made-up religion off of Judaism was forced on the English. The English took slaves, brought them to America, and forced it on American blacks and Native Americans. And then they gave it to their children. So now you got a whole church full of people praising Jesus and don't even know the history behind that shit. Do I got that clear to you? Do you understand the irony of this? And now we got all of these nuclear bombs. We're going around the rest of the world telling them, fuck you, we Christians. And they laughing and mocking you because they know the history. They're looking at you like you fools with atomic bombs. Fools with atomic bombs. One culture captured another culture, gave them a religion that they made up. That culture went and captured another culture, forced that religion on them. That culture passed it down to their kids, and now we live in a time where you got churches on every block. I see patterns in almost everything I do, everywhere I go. This shit is real. You can't make this up in a movie if you wanted to. And now we've turned into lapdogs for Israel. The same people who look at us and mock us. Like say I saw a show where a Christian man from America went over to Jerusalem and was stopping people in the street asking them, do you believe Jesus Christ is your God, the Savior? And they looked around and looked at him like they wanted to pick their words very carefully. You can look at them and tell. But one guy was kind of mocking him. One guy said, well, if you believe Jesus, how come you're not Jew? You're not Jewish? Why you're not Jewish? Basically, he was trying to tell this fool, if you believe in Jesus, how come you don't convert to Judaism? Because Jesus was a Jew. He wasn't a Christian. What are you talking about? And the man still didn't get it. Well, the Bible says Jesus Christ is your God and Savior. And this Jewish man was looking at him like, if you believe in Jesus, why aren't you Jew? Why don't you convert to Judaism? What is this Christianity stuff? It was crazy. And the guy was clueless.
I don't think he knows what he's doing. Here's what I don't understand. If you have the capability to surgically strike and vaporize a leader of a different country, how do you also miss and hit a school full of girls? There's a really big problem because either both were an accident or both were on purpose. And I'm not sure which is fucking worse. I mean, I know which is worse, but like, I don't think you can have one without the other. You can't just accidentally do that and then also do the thing that you... So explain the fucking first thing. So when they cut off 20% of global oil in retaliation, like what's the plan? Like, I don't think that he has a good handle on what he's doing. Like, we should not have elected this guy.
This is the Daily Read, people. I just had to get that off my chest. We in trouble. We looking at some Mad Max shit that might happen if World War III breaks out. Y'all remember the movies Mad Max? How everything was barren, people running around starving, killing others just to get ahead. It's about to be crazy. If we don't get a handle on our government, we're going down a road that's going to lead to mutual destruction. Because Trump didn't stir up normal Muslims. And I talked about that at the beginning of the show. Normal Muslims, people, are the first two levels. Okay? Normal Muslims are the first two levels. You know, These are the ones that you can literally speak to, sit down and eat dinner with, talk to. But the upper echelons of Islam don't like you. They will spit on you. They will call you a blasphemer or infidel because they know history. They live it over there. And they know that Christianity basically is a slave religion that's been passed around amongst slaves. Let that sink in to some of you. Christianity is a slave religion that was bounced around and passed around from slave to slaves. Rome made it up, passed it to the Europeans. The Europeans ate it up for 200, 300 years. Then took their butts to Africa, took a bunch of slaves to the plantations of America and fed it to them. Know your history. Black men are just not walking away from churches for no reason. A lot of us are knowing our history now. This is the Daily Read, and keep God in your heart. Religion, but keep God in your heart. This is the Daily Read, and we out.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Bring in the business.